For our first story, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has charged the Auditor-General to team up with the Special Prosecutor to fight political corruption. Describing corruption as a nation wrecker, he assured government would also fight it without fear or favor. He was speaking at the 2018 Accountability Week celebration held here in Accra, where the Auditor-General also announced that all public servants with a salary cap of more than 3,727 Ghana cedis are required to declare their assets like all government appointees. Ifwa Evans Chinri reports.
Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia commended the Auditor-General for disallowing some 5.4 billion cedis in claims made on government that would have otherwise been drained from state coffers, adding that those found culpable would be prosecuted.
You found 5.4 billion from the recent audit, but how much was actually paid in the past that we don't know about for some of these ghost claims? It's a serious problem. I urge the Auditor-General to sustain this exercise in order to instill discipline in public financial management at all levels of government and to deter public officers who might be contemplating to dupe the state using their unpatriotic practices. It is my expectation and I believe that the Auditor-General and the Special Prosecutor will work closely in ensuring a sound and effective public financial management in the country.
The Auditor-General, Daniel Domelevu, who spoke before the Vice President made his remarks, explained that the requirement for public servants to declare their salaries once they earn above a certain threshold is to ensure they do not amass ill-gotten wealth, and advise all of them to check their pay slips and comply accordingly.
Politicians are required to declare their assets and liabilities, but public office holders are also required to do same. Any officer in any public office or public institution other than the armed forces whose salary is equal to or higher than that of the salary of a director in the civil service is required, but at 550 to declare his or her liabilities and assets. Any public servant whose salary is more than 3,727 per month. So check your pay slips. Whose salary is more than 3,727 or above is required to declare assets and liabilities.
He revealed that Parliament is yet to furnish his office with its financial statements for auditing. The Auditor-General reminded his officers to refrain from demanding or accepting bribes in the performance of their duties, warning that those who fail to report infractions or irregularities will be sanctioned as stated by law. He said a system will soon be established to encourage the general public to lodge complaints on suspected cases of mismanagement, fraud, and other irregularities in the public service.
The Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta on Monday painted a rosy image of the state of the Ghana economy and also challenged those who sometimes complained about not feeling the positive impact in their pocket to show evidence that they have fully fulfilled their tax obligations. The issue of the state of the economy has been topical since the MPP government took over power. While the opposition NDC maintains Ghana is under a poor management structure, the governing MPP has been of the view all indicators are pointing in the right direction. The Finance Minister, who was addressing a news conference, described as remarkable the performance of the economy in the last 2 years under the MPP.
Real question, gentlemen and ladies here, of why are we in this situation? And when you look at VAT penetration rate of 11%, we should be about, 22 or 25. Obviously, we the citizens are not paying. When individuals like you and I are not paying our personal income taxes, that is also a reality. I think some showed some peer comparisons of Ghana's revenue to GDP being 15% as opposed to 20-25%. That's an awful lot of resources. That is a leakage. So at what point do we also honestly face ourselves as a country, and everybody begin to contribute their part of that, you know. So if that nice suited gentleman asks you, well, I'm not feeling in my pocket, you know, ask whether that person has even ever filed his income tax before. And it's a very relevant question for a society that is growing, that wants to go beyond aid, that everybody fulfills their part of the responsibility that we have.
Businesses will soon be able to register and acquire licenses online as the Ghana Tourism Authority automates its operations. And that's according to the Executive Director of the authority, Charles Osei-Bonsu, who addressed a tourism award ceremony in Kumasi.
The authority intends to automate its registration and licensing procedures to ease the process of procuring license to operate tourism enterprise.
He enumerated other measures to propel the tourism sector.
The authority has not relented in its advocacy role in the furtherance of the sector's interest. For example, the authority is liaising with Ghana Investment Promotion Center to reintroduce the duty exemptions on inputs for tourism investments. Representations are also being made to the Electricity Corporation of Ghana for a special ban for hotels' computation of tariffs, and the discussion is ongoing. We are also leading a renewed domestic tourism drive under the See Ghana, Eat Ghana, Wear Ghana, and Feel Ghana initiative.
Ashanti Region's most popular radio station, Ishra 104.5, has for the fourth time been adjudged the most tourism-oriented radio station. Late afternoon show, Ophir Council host Kingsley Odania Mwako, also known as Asanka Boyoyo, emerged best tourism promoter. There are 32 individuals and corporate tourism operators honored at the Ashanti Region Tourism Awards in Kumasi.
So they reward me in such a way, so I'm very grateful. And also to the multimedia company too.
Other winners includes Chief Executive of Axtolins International, Richard Obiasumi. He entreated the government to invest in transportation and housing to boost tourism.
In the tourism industry, we've got some challenges, and some of the challenges include access to facilities to embark on effective and efficient tourism. In terms of transportation, it's very difficult. So my best advice is that stakeholders, the government, should really invest in the tourism industry, especially in the area of transportation. Most often we do have students and youth, a lot of people, churches and organizations who want to visit most of the tourist attractions in Ghana. But for private businesses to arrange with private transport owners is difficult, and the price they raise most often deter us from sort of engaging. Most often you raise money from clients and you have to invest all the money in transportation. So if the government will be able to invest heavily so far as transport is concerned, I think it's going to be very, very, very useful.
Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Debra.
The One Nursing Training College has cut down the number of admissions for the 2017-2018 academic year for quality training. The principal of the college, George Singh-Tommy, revealed that the decision is a result of infrastructural challenges facing the institution. It discloses that the matriculation of some 219 students of the school.
The World Health Assistance Training School, established some 13 years ago with 44 students pursuing the Nurses Assistant Clinical Program, took off on borrowed compound. The school was upgraded to a college status after more academic programs were added. After operating for over a decade, the school has produced over 866 health professionals working in various health sectors of the country. The One Nursing Training College, now located at Kurisi on the outskirts of one municipality, has admitted a total of 219 new students, with 148 pursuing nurse assistant clinical, while 71 are offering registered general nursing programs for this academic year. The principal of the college, Joywa Signatomi, at the induction noted that lack of adequate infrastructure is affecting students' intake.
There has been a decline in the number of admissions for the 2017-2018 academic year compared with the preceding periods, which recorded 253 admissions. The essence is to inject quality in the training, given the available human capital and the teaching learning materials. Inadequate tutors, lack of bigger lecture halls, inadequate skills laboratory equipment, and computers for the Information Communication Technology Center and hostel facilities are some of the challenges to contend with.
One Municipal Chief Executive, Alaji Tyrisa Kumumin, implored the students to be of good behavior and eschew social vices.
Education and discipline must be your guide in order to become professional nurses. On the other hand, as full members of the college community, it is part of your obligation to maintain law and order, protect the college properties, respect the rights of your fellow students, report any criminal activity to the college authority, and keep your lecture rooms clean. Let me also seize this opportunity and join you to shun all forms of social vices, such as cultism, sexual misbehavior, indecent dressing, examination malpractices, thuggery, fraudulent acts, and other nefarious activities which can mar your bright future.
The Upper West Regional Director of the Ghana Health Services, Dr. Joseph Toinote, called on the matriculants to be mindful of their duties.
That in the Upper West region, discipline should be our hallmark. And I will stand by every principal who descends hard on the students for discipline. I want to tell you that it is a calling. And if you don't have that calling, you are in the wrong place.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam.
And before we go, an NGO, the Child Rights International, has sent representatives to Kumasi to ascertain and support victims of sexual abuse at the Ejosumine Senior High School. This follows reports that some girls of the school who spoke to Love News on how some teachers made them grope their sexual organs had been hauled before the school's disciplinary committee. The executive director of Child Rights International, Brighter Pia, said those girls ought to be commended for their boldness and also be protected.
That when I heard it, what I said was that these girls are very bold, looking at where they are and the things that happen to them on a daily basis. For them to be bold enough to step out and say that this is what is happening to them, I think that it is a bold step, because there are instances where you see children go through those things, but they find it very difficult to speak out on it because of the victimization and all that. So if they've broken all the barriers to speak to the issues, I think that is a very fine step that we have to base on. But whatever it is, I think that we have to fight for these children. Because for somebody who is going to abuse, to come out and say that is what is happening, of course, we need to also ensure that we give them the supporting system. We put the supporting systems in place so that we deal with some of the victimization. We have taken the step to go to the aid of these girls that has mastered the courage to do that, and then ensure that we protect them. They go to their school environment safely and nothing happens to them. And anybody who wants to take action against them, we would also sort to the appropriate forum to seek for the interest of these children. Because for me, I have had an encounter with children who have complained to me. But when you ask them to take it further, they find it very difficult to do that. But for them to do this, I think that we'd have to look for them and then see how we can also support them, because this will be the beginning of unveiling most of the things that happens to children in the school.
And you did mention.
Well, Brighter Pia also said his organization is outraged at the slow pace of response from the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education on the subject, saying it will also launch a WhatsApp platform through which students could share their conversations with teachers demanding sexual favors.
We are going to open avenue for children to report such issues, and we will deal with it without their involvement and all that. And if we know that the teacher has sent them text messages through WhatsApp or whichever medium, they should forward it to us, and we'll follow it up and then deal with the issue the way we have to deal with it, because we need to protect that environment for the well-being of children. So we have sent our team to Kumasi to also interact with it and then meet the appropriate authorities so that we can address this issue immediately, and then see how best these children that they have been victimized, we go to their rescue. And any teacher that is involved in this, and if we establish a case, probably the ones that would have to let GES deal with, we would let them go ahead.
Speaking
and deal
of the GES, it's been a while since we broke this story.
Exactly.
We haven't heard from them.
That is the issue, and I personally have issue with GES in terms of how they are safeguarding the school environment for the well-being of children. And I'm saying this because when you go to the Code of Conduct for Teachers, in schools, you will see the holes that have been created, or the avenue that have been created for teachers to perpetrate some of these things that they are doing. And we are not saying that every teacher goes to that kind of thing, but there are teachers that also engage children in this kind of thing. Take advantage of it and all.
That's it for the latest news headlines, but please get interactive on Facebook. We have our page there, JoyNews on TV, and also we have my Online TV is on YouTube. And there's our official channel. Well, we have a bit of surprise for you as we do a review of the newspapers. I'll be joined by Mama Vio Sabwaje, and of course a very cute, handsome man, one of the latest on the block for the multimedia family. And we'll be doing the review of the newspapers. We'll look at all the top cut stories for you this morning, all in a bit. To stay on.